Welcome back to the North American Daryl podcast. Episode 6, Geoarbitrage taken to the extreme. Could I travel on $1,000 a month? The last episode covered basic geoarbitrage. This time, I want to push it to the extreme. If the stock market forced me to tighten up, could I reduce withdrawals until it recovered? When I took a run at retirement, I believed I needed $3,000 a month to travel while maintaining home bases in Arizona and Rocky Point, Mexico. $1,000 to cover Arizona and Rocky Point, $2,000 to travel. That number was locked into my brain because $3,000 felt responsible. Southeast Asia taught me that $2,000 for travel isn't my only option. I prefer that budget because it allows more flights, nicer apartments, island trips, Western meals, and room for mistakes. But I believe I could live in parts of Southeast Asia for much less, possibly close to $1,000 a month. Not as a permanent situation, just in a pinch if I wanted to keep traveling, and definitely no road trips every 2 weeks. This would mean one location, a monthly apartment, local food, and a lower budget while the stock market settled. Back home, that first $1,000 can disappear maintaining my inexpensive Arizona and Mexico home bases. In parts of Southeast Asia, that amount can cover a month. The exact location matters. Central Bangkok, beachfront Phuket, or a luxury Cebu condo probably won't work. But a smaller city or a local neighborhood like those where I stayed in Vietnam might. Based on my 2 visits, an extreme budget in Vietnam could look like this: $300 for a furnished apartment, $250 for local food and groceries, $100 for utilities, internet, and a phone, $100 for transportation, $100 for visas, basic entertainment, and small surprises. That leaves roughly $150 of breathing room for little extras, ensuring I still have money for beer and fun, which are mandatory. Would every month land perfectly on that number? Of course not. My spending may run high, but over 3 months it should balance out if I need to bear down. The point isn't that everyone can live well on exactly $1,000. It's that I have another lever. During a downturn, I could stay longer in Vietnam, choose a less expensive neighborhood, cook more, stop taking trips every few weeks, trade island hopping for walking, writing, working out, and living normally. That could reduce my withdrawals during a bad year. Geoarbitrage becomes a financial pressure release valve many retirees may need. A $1,000 overseas budget doesn't erase my home expenses, healthcare, travel insurance, taxes, emergencies, or flight home. It also doesn't cover every visa problem, medical surprise, or night when noodles aren't enough and I suddenly require a cheeseburger and several beers. Apparently, even extreme frugality needs a cheat day, which would cost less than $20 in Vietnam. I would never recommend moving overseas with exactly $1,000 and no emergency fund. That is one delayed payment away from panic. The real strength is knowing I can reduce spending when conditions change. I could stop traveling and stay in Arizona or Mexico during a market downturn. Plenty of people happily retire in both places, so it is still a great option, and it would lower my budget. It just isn't my first choice. For the last several years, I've enjoyed spending 3 or 4 months at a time in Asia. My preferred travel budget is $2,000 a month. My extreme version could be closer to $1,000. Including my home bases, that could reduce my total spending from roughly $3,000 to $2,000. That gives my investments time to recover without ending my travel lifestyle. I now understand my options much better. Stay in Arizona or Mexico, travel through Asia on my preferred budget, or stay longer in one affordable Asian location and bear down until the market recovers. For years, financial security meant reaching one perfect number and never falling below it. Now it also means being adaptable enough to change the number. Southeast Asia showed me that I could build a good life on much less and continue traveling with purpose. That is geoarbitrage taken to the extreme. I'm not trying to live as cheaply as possible. I'm proving to myself that if life, or the stock market, forces me to tighten up, I have options. Thanks for listening to the North American Daryl podcast. Join me for episode 7, where I'll share how I spent nearly 30 years preparing for my own run at early retirement. Until next time, keep traveling, keep adapting, and live life to the fullest.